Hello guys and welcome to Dangerous SEGA News Bits. With me is Barry.
Hello!
I'm George. Forgot to say my name in the beginning. I screwed it all up. Anyway, today we're talking about Yakuza Kiwami and Yakuza 6 with Kori-Maru and Bartman, who went to E3 2017 to play the demos. So, I mean, first I wanted to start it off with, isn't it kind of hard for SEGA to get hyped for these games when we already saw everything about these games like over a year ago?
Yeah.
They're kind of old.
Oh yeah.
They're kind of old, but I'd still say that there was like a huge draw for the game regardless. Like, SEGA was confident enough that they actually put Yakuza 6 ads in like all the badges that anybody got at E3.
Oh yeah, and they were giving out like free bags to whoever were playing like the games and stuff.
Okay then, so I mean, I'm glad that SEGA is turning around on the franchise. I don't think they've pushed it this hard since the first game when they had all the AAA voice actors, if you would call it. So they're doing the remake of the first game, Yakuza Kiwami. Was there a lot of people in line for this game, and what's your general opinion on the way the game plays and looks?
It was a good amount of people playing the game. The line was long. When I first got to try to play the game, it was pretty much like it's like Yakuza 0, but like everything takes place in the first game. Like you know, you got like the same story, the same, you know, settings and stuff, but it added like different new features and stuff, like new cutscenes, new mini games to play around, like the Mushi King parody where you play as like these two girls and stuff, and you have the option of like you know, playing rock paper scissors, so on and so forth.
Wait, so you get to play as a girl?
So yeah, you find these weird cards like in the city, and like you get to use them for that mini game at Club SEGA. And I think it builds up your stats with that particular character.
Okay, and Bartman, you're not a huge Yakuza fan. What was your thoughts on playing Kiwami?
Yeah, Kiwami was like the only one that I played, and I've had like little experience playing the Yakuza series overall, but I thought it had an interesting way that it dealt with combat mechanics where you needed to switch between different fighting styles on the fly. So switching between was pretty easy. You just flick your thumb over at the D-pad from the analog stick, and you would immediately switch into that different mode. And then it was just great seeing all the different animations when you fight all these different thugs that line up the streets.
Yeah, with the heat action, where you build up your meter.
Yeah.
Right next to your health gauge.
And how's the graphics for this game? I mean, it's a remake, but I mean, the old game is pretty old. I know they changed the art style around because, I mean, Kazuma looked way different in the PlayStation 2 version than this game, right, Corey?
Oh, yeah, man. The graphics are like really beautiful, man. Like the game was running 60 frames per second. Like I said before, it's a lot similar to Yakuza 0, and I'm kind of glad they went with that route.
And did they remake everything from the ground up? Is it like, I know when you play Yakuza 0, you'll see something and you're like, wow, that looks really beautiful. This scene looks really good. And then all of a sudden you get to this like weird scene where like they're still using like PS3 character models from Yakuza 3, and you're like, wait, what the fuck? What's going on here? It's like, you know what I mean? Did he still have that?
Oh yeah, no.
It was at least enough to fool me into thinking like that they kind of touched up the visuals for the game regardless of anything. In fact, looking at the two games, like Yakuza 6 and Kiwami were like side by side next to each other, and I could definitely see a difference in Yakuza 6, but it was, Yakuza Kiwami still looked good enough to seem like that it was it's not taking advantage of the hardware, but it still looks good. Like it's what you want to. It's basically what you want to see coming out of your game system, especially if you're going to spend $200, $300, $400 for it.
Okay. And in the first game, when they brought the game over, they did this whole like rewrite. They kind of rewrote the dialogue. There was a lot of cursing. Is that kind of the same thing with Yakuza 0? Is that just the Japanese version of the game and they brought it over, or did they change the dialogue a lot? I mean, Corey, you would know more about this.
From the press release, I think they re-recorded the Japanese dialogue. I don't think there's a lot cussing from like, you know, the English version of the game. They only like pretty much subtitled the whole thing in Southern, like Japan, like pretty much re-recorded the whole audio from Japan and stuff. It's not really you know, it's not like really like the older game with like a lot of cussing and stuff. Like you have like Mark Hamill.
Yeah, I like this better idea because I didn't like the cursing. I thought it came off kind of childish in the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Yakuza 6 is supposed to be the new one, brand new engine. What are your guys' thoughts on either looking at it or playing it?
Actually, before we move on to that, I want to talk about the new mode in Yakuza Kiwami.
Okay, tell us.
Yeah, so like there's this new mode that replaces what's that guy's name? Mr. Shakedown.
From Yakuza 0.
Yes, and so like the new mode is pretty much like it's called Majima Everywhere. So like there's this like purple indicator on the map, which is Goro Majima. So he'll like stalk you around town and try to challenge you in a fight. So what Sega did at E3, they pretty much like set the difficulty to very high. I only got to play like against him like twice. Like at one point he had a weapon and kicked my ass, and then like later on he didn't have a weapon, but he had like a huge amount of health, and I ended up beating him with a lot of patience and stuff. Had this lady like behind me is like, "Oh no, you gotta win this," and I was like, "Oh, I got this, hold on." So I got like the like I think the demo had like this huge fish, like something you see from Dynamite Cop, and I was just welling on with that, and just, you know, I ended up beating him. I think one of the guys from Sega said like only 2 people beat Majima, so I think I'm like probably one of them.
Now, Mr. Shakedown scares me, and I mean that in the sense that it's like playing Slender Man, and you just see him in the crowd, like in the far off distance, and it's scary as hell. So is this scary? Like Mr. Shakedown?
Not quite, but like if he like, you know, well Majima, well his personality and stuff is a little crazy and stuff. He was like trying to stalk you.
He doesn't take your money though.
No, he doesn't take your money.
Good. That's what scares me.
Yeah.
He takes your dignity.
Yeah, trust me, we all have our nightmares against Mr. Shakedown.
So I'm looking forward to Majima Anywhere. That sounds really cool. I mean, I think it sounds better than a real-time weather system or something like that.
Oh yeah, I think he attacks you in like restaurants and stuff too.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
So the big game at E3 for at least not Sonic was Yakuza 6. What was your, I guess, impressions of the graphics? Because it's running on a brand new engine.
Oh yeah. The graphics, like I said before, is beautiful, but it's 10 times beautiful. Not only that, with the engine that I think it was called the Dragon engine. So it pretty much it utilizes the environment where like Cosmo can like pretty much go anywhere without any loading times and such. So like I can go to like a convenience store and then come back out without any loading interferences. The way that he moves and like the physics in the game, it feels more realistic. You can like when you bump into enemies and stuff, you can just fight them on the go anywhere anytime. So pretty much the game is running at real time. But however, like I had some like frame rate issues too. Like the frame rate would probably like drop maybe like 30 frames per second at times, but it's not really as bad as like, you know, it seems and stuff.
It seems to be kind of like a thing with Yakuza games. Randomly, like you'll randomly just get frame drops. I don't know. The team just seems to like not have a lid on the constant frame rates, but I don't think it ruins the games. So, any new fighting features that you noticed in Yakuza 6 while playing it?
I actually have the demo, the Japanese demo on my PS4. It's way different from Yakuza 0 and Kiwami. I don't think you can switch styles. I can't remember, but like I know you can trigger what your heat gauge. I think with like L1 or L2. Can't remember, but like you can trigger that, and then like you can do like a multi-hit heat action move. I just like the fighting mechanics and stuff, like where you're, you know, just moving around all in rent time.
So you said you had the Japanese demo. Was the demo they showed at E3 the same one as the Japanese demo that you played?
Oh no, it wasn't the same as the Japanese demo. The one they had like took place at night, and they had some sub stories available too. Unfortunately, they did not have the Club Sega
at the demo booth.
You know, section. Yeah, they didn't have the demo booth, and I know they have like Virtua Fighter 5 and Puyo Puyo playable, but like not in the demo.
I think that would have been something they should have shown. I know it doesn't really interest people at E3. I don't think people at E3 are like, if this thing had Puyo Puyo and Virtua Fighter 5, I'd buy it, you know?
Oh yeah, man.
I think that's more for us, but I think it would have been cool to show off the Sega Arcade that you could technically play older Sega games.
Oh, that's another thing I want to mention too. They did show off like a story demo, but I haven't like really tried it out as much. Only got to play like their free roaming adventure mode that they have, so I get like a quick idea of like how the game plays.
And did you talk to any of the reps there and ask them any interesting questions?
Not quite. I should have, but like I was so busy like trying to like look for like side quests, sub stories and stuff.
You're mesmerized by Kazuma's old butt. He's like 51 in this one.
Like, dude, like it's like the engine, man. Like how he just moves around in like different environments in real time. That's what got me. And I kind of hope that Sega uses that engine for like some of their different games outside of Yakuza. Maybe for like Virtua Fighter 6.
Oh, giving them a hint, huh?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Virtua Fighter 6. We need it.
Okay. So my last question is, what was your opinion on like we talked about lines before, but I think I would consider this like the line for this considered to like I guess a mid-tier game. You think this was like an average game line? Like I don't know. I mean, I don't want to compare it to like something like Mario Odyssey or Call of Duty, because I mean those are totally different. This is like a niche franchise.
Yeah. I would say like it was about the same length as like the Sonic lines, like for Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces. But I think like a good amount of people played it. So like I was like walking around the show floor, and I saw like numerous of people having the Yakuza bag that you get for free when you play the game. And one last thing I want to mention too, I got to meet Nagoshi-san. I was in line talking.
And how did that go?
Oh my god, it was awesome. Like he was just sitting there chilling, like you know how you be on the streams, just like just like ease off.
He looks intimidating, but like in your experience, he's actually just a nice guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's like pretty chill. Like he's.
What do he smell like?
He smells like oranges.
So there you go, guys.
I was just going to ask, I know that, Yakuza 0's out, Kiwami's coming out in a few months, and then we'll have 6. In these games, they have the same main characters, they take place in the same sort of area. At least with Yakuza 0, there's that time difference, but is there any fear that this might become too samey for people 3 games in, at least in terms of the PS4 releases? Do you think that Yakuza 6 and maybe even Kiwami are different enough from 0 that people won't feel like it's same old, same old?
Yeah, pretty much. Yakuza Kiwami like plays way differently from 6 and so on and so forth. There's a huge difference between those games. But I think a lot of people will like enjoy it once they try it out.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to 6, and Kiwami I feel like is much needed, especially after the first one where we had the English language. So I'm really looking forward to that.
So, are you guys excited for Yakuza Kiwami, Yakuza 6? Let us know in the comments below, and if you guys like this video, like, share, subscribe, turn it off, go to sleep. Look out for Mr. Shakedown.
Oh yeah.
Look both ways when you cross the street.
Also, shout outs to Neo Hazard for lending us that microphone for that Aaron Weber interview.